everyone, and welcome to the third episode or third video in this series of energy design for everyday spaces. And today we're going to talk about something that's fascinating, something that I learned in biogeometry and was really one of the most fascinating points that I got from it. And it's about resonance of shape. So what we'll talk about today, what resonance of shape is, how shapes act as energy and state placeholders, examples that we might see in our bedrooms and what they are anchoring in terms of energy, qualities and states, and simple shifts, of course, that we can start making today. So why this matters? Our spaces are very active in terms of the interaction that we continue to have with them. So whatever we have in our space is not just decoration. It is a message, it is a broadcast, it is an input that our mind, our subconscious mind, is constantly taking in. Exactly. So we entrain to the objects and things in our environment, whether we are consciously interacting with them or not. And the bedroom is where this matters, one of the places where this matters most, because it is the place where we spend a greater length of time, usually sleeping, and as we are sleeping, our conscious filters are off. So our subconscious is interacting very openly with everything in our environment. And on the same token, children's bedrooms ask us to be potentially even more discerning, because children, whether they are awake or they are asleep, they are still in that very open, unfiltered state. So alpha brainwaves, and they are in their formative period. So whatever is in their environment is entraining them to something. And we'll see examples of different things moving forward. But the objects, the statues, the pictures, even the toys that they have in their rooms are entraining them to something. It's either something that uplifts them, that makes them feel safe, or something that perhaps is better stored before actually they're going to sleep. So what is a resonance of shape? Definition here that similar shapes resonate through sympathetic vibration. Lovely and very worthy. What does this mean? Sympathetic vibration is something that you're very familiar with, probably, in terms of tuning forks, for example. This is an experiment that is fairly well known, that when you strike one tuning fork and you have other tuning forks in the room that have a similar frequency, they start resonating as well. So that is sympathetic vibration. The same happens actually with the pendulum clocks, so the old school types of clocks that had pendulum that swing. Those pendulums, like metronomes, the same thing happens. They start over time to entrain to one another. So even if they start at different rhythms, over time they start harmonizing, they start getting into sympathetic vibration. But it's not just sound and sound waves that create this sympathetic vibration. Shapes, similar shapes, create a similar type of effect. So they interact with each other even if there is no direct, quote-unquote, direct contact. And shapes also anchor specific energy qualities or states in a space, because they are a crystallization of something, of, for example, of a statue with a certain emotional expression. That will be a crystallization of that state, that the statue acts as a placeholder, constantly anchoring and broadcasting that in the space. So again, those qualities are what's anchored and not necessarily the object. And as a note, I have here that emotional states also get anchored by objects. And I mean this in a different sense. For example, you might have something that you have an emotional attachment to that makes you feel amazing anytime that you look at it. Might not have anything to do with its shape, but the object itself, even just a simple pebble, can have that effect of anchoring an emotion that we have assigned to it. This is Doctrine of Signatures, is where this resonance of shape has been more studied and used throughout healing practices. So it's not something so much that we see nowadays in our Western medicine, but it is something that has been used across different cultures and across different traditions. Traditional Chinese medicine, Taoist, other practices, I believe Ayurvedic as well, herbalist for sure. So what this says is that the shape of an object will help harmonize things in the body of a human that are of similar shape. So we have here an image of a human brain and walnuts. Backtrack that. Walnuts are, now we know from our Western culture, that nutritionally they are amazing to support the health of the brain. But this is something that if we were looking through the eyes of the Doctrine of Signatures in other traditions, we would have made that leap without needing to know what exactly was the mechanism. But we would know that this shape is similar to this part of the body. So this shape will help to harmonize it, to nourish it, or to heal imbalances in it. And below we have here a drawing of kidneys. And in traditional Chinese medicine in particular, the black bean is suggested to help support the energy and the health of the kidneys. Any type of bean has a similar shape to the kidney, but in traditional Chinese medicine, they also bring color, because that's another thing that can have resonance across different objects, let's call it that. And the kidneys are associated with water element, which is associated with the color black. So the shape of the bean and the fact that it is black, it's a double whammy of goodness. So traditional Chinese medicine associates black beans as a very good support for kidney health. Then we have another one that I wanted to bring here, reishi. This is almost like the miracle mushroom for kidney support as well, for vitality, for longevity, and as you can see, it's a very similar shape as well. And now, particularly on a human perspective, how we can understand these types of resonances. Well, we know from our science is that we are wired to read states. Our mirror neurons are the biological basis for empathy, which make us entrain and feel the states that we observe in others. But those others don't need to be live people necessarily. They can be statues and they can be photos, because the shape our subconscious recognizes as human and our nervous system recognizes and can entrain, can read and entrain to the feeling state of the statue or photo. And our subconscious always paying attention even if we are not directly interacting with something. I have here this comment. So humans resonate most strongly with other humans. And I have this here because we also resonate with other animals. I'm going to say that mammals and animals that have a nervous system, that's the similar or the closest to our own, are the ones that we have more of an ease of relating with and being able to enter into this empathic resonant state. So for example, dogs, cats, horses, these are animals that we are very familiar with, so we resonate very strongly with them. We understand their emotions, they understand our emotions as well, and there is the same phenomenon of resonance, although at a different level perhaps than there is with humans. And if you think, for example, if you ever had a fish or a bird, it's different. So we don't have the same degree of resonance and understanding in emotional terms with those species, because their nervous system and our own, they're starting to diverge a little bit more. This is just a note, but it's a curiosity that might have crossed your mind. Now, let's start with examples. So, things that we place in our spaces, and I'm going to start with some that are not necessarily the most pleasant ones. Woman in a very close position. I, looking at this statue, would say that she is sad or even crying. Then we have something like this, which is a more abstract statue. And this one is curious because it depends on your response to it. When I look at it, it seems to me that there's something missing. There's a vacant space there, something is wrong. That's my sense. You might have a different response. And then we have this one, a man. And it seems that he is weighed down by something. All of these, if you look at them objectively, are beautiful statues. But there's something that feels off. Like, I wouldn't want to have these around me anywhere, much less in my bedroom. But then again, they are beautiful pieces. But it behooves us to start questioning what state is this image or this statue transmitting. Because we resonate the strongest with human figures, whether they are statues or images. And for other shapes, like that more abstract shape, but all other shapes as well, like animals or even real abstract paintings or abstract statues, you'll have to trust really how they make you feel. If something gives you that, ooh, this is beautiful, but there's something here that's a bit off, trust it's a bit off, the one foot on the brake and one on the gas, no, it's better to not have it around you. But if it's something that makes you feel like, I don't know, a sigh of relief or joy or love or just tenderness, then it's something that is actually profiting you energetically. And still a note regarding especially statues and abstract things. If they have sharp edges pointing toward you, this in Feng Shui is called poison arrows. So there are steep projections of energy that are always poking at you, at your energy, at your body. So this is something to avoid as well, for a different reason. So it's not necessarily a resonance of shape, but it's energy that's constantly poking at you. And if it's something sharp as well, I'm going to say that your subconscious still has a degree of not feeling safe with having that around you, because it could hurt you. But then again, we are all different, so trust yourself and see how different things make you feel. So more examples, and these ones are interesting because they are ambiguous. So let me open all of them here. First image is, you can't see it here, but it's a collage of family pictures. Second image has a beautiful, beautiful ocean depiction on top of the headboard of the bed, and the bottom two pictures are beautiful statues in meditation. All of these gorgeous compositions. And why I say these are ambiguous images is because of the energy qualities and states that they bring to the bedroom. So first one with the family images, family photos. If this is a couple's bedroom or even a single person's bedroom, you are bringing the energy of many people into a place that's supposed to be either for the couple, intimacy, romance, connection. For the two of them, you're bringing the rest of the family in, which can feel a little bit unsettling and perhaps even a little bit inhibiting. And if you are single and you are wanting to be in a relationship, same thing. Having the rest of the family there might not be encouraging to those goals. And yeah, let me continue with the ocean. This one, again, gorgeous picture. I love ocean images, but this one is more of a feng shui note. So take it and see if it resonates with you. That our subconscious tends to perceive things more symbolically. And when you have an ocean above your head when you're sleeping, there's something about that that doesn't feel right. You could drown, you can be overwhelmed, you can have a whole lot of water above you, you could be underwater, so something there doesn't really feel right. So it probably doesn't support deep, peaceful rest. Regarding the two beautiful statues below, a man, a woman, in meditation. This, again, ambiguous because it depends on what state do you want your room to anchor. If you want that state of peacefulness, that state of meditation, that state of inner connection, these probably would just be beautiful additions to the space. But if you want your room to be a place of emotional connection, of romantic connection, of erotic explorations, of pleasure, these types of statues are anchoring a different state. So they might actually be a little bit clashing with the desire for that romantic connection. And I'm going to bring something else that's fairly common to see in bedrooms as well, especially across Latin countries, which are religious figures. Even the ones that are not depicting suffering, the ones that are just depicting angels or religious figures in beautiful, nourishing ways, they are still bringing religion to the bedroom. And I don't know about you, but having religious figures in the bedroom does not really lend itself to those feelings of intimacy, of connection, of sensual exploration. So again, it's a matter of thinking, what is this image, what is it anchoring, and what is the state that I want to feel and anchor in the room, and are they a match? So continue. Principle recap here. So similar shapes resonate. It's the sympathetic vibration, like the tuning forks. You hit one, the other one through sympathetic resonance starts vibrating as well. Same happens with shapes. And the shapes also anchor and are placeholders for the qualities and states that they depict 24/7. Our subconscious is always receiving those messages, and the bedroom, because we spend the most time there and our conscious rational filters are off, we take them in even more strongly. And of course, reminder again that in a child's room it's even greater the effect, because they are still in that unfiltered state and in their formative years. So some ideas, some simple shifts that we can make with this awareness of resonance of shape. Bring something like this, so something that's more broad, that speaks to the state that you want. So connection, love, intimacy, partnership. different examples, or statue that feels more like joy, more expansive, more like ecstatic states. And for children, for example, why not? Little beautiful angels that just feel happy, joyful, that feel curious about life. So in practical terms, take a walk through your bedroom, and for each figure or each image, just notice what state is this anchoring here. And then, of course, ask yourself, is that what I want to feel here? Suggestion for family photos, and this again is at your discretion, see how it makes you feel, but the suggestion for family photos would be to put it in common spaces and, as a general, to replace anything that feels contracting, that feels like suffering, that feels heavy, that feels like fear, sadness, anything that you don't want to anchor in your state and in your energy. Replace that with something that feels loving, that feels ecstatic, that feels joyful, that feels free, that feels open. One thing at a time, and that's plenty already. Just start looking with conscious eyes through your room or rooms and start making choices that align with the energy that you want to be in throughout your day and night. And to finish this presentation, I wanted to share a couple of ideas. One of them is this, actually having a vision board in your room. Vision boards we usually have more wherever we have our workspaces or common places like a living room. But it is a possibility as well if you want to have one vision board in your room, if it feels good to you, if it aligns with your aesthetic. Another choice, and this one might come out of the blue, is this cute little thing here. So this is a sketching mannequin, a wood mannequin. So it's a mannequin that is articulated, so you can change its shape to different postures. And this can be really, really interesting because you can actually put this little thing in many different postures that have different meanings to you. Something that you want. For example, you could put it in a victory power pose, although I'm not sure victory in the bedroom is useful, but you do you. Maybe put it in a workspace or something like that. Another power pose, for example, would be this, or in a more loving, receiving state, which is a beautiful state to have, an embracing state at night, or even something more ecstatic, a more ecstatic posture, because it's very difficult to find tasteful, ecstatic statues. I can tell you because I've been looking for them. So something like this that's actually articulated, and you can move its limbs to whatever posture you want, is a really interesting option actually to have in a room or a bedroom or any other room, because you can put it in a position or in a posture that depicts something that's important to you, and our subconscious mind still reads this as this is human shape like. So it still recognizes the posture as, for example, receiving or embrace. Even if it isn't a person that is in 3D, the posture and the state is still recognized and it's still being anchored. It's still being read by our subconscious. So it's a really interesting option and a very inexpensive one as well. So I wanted to leave you with this suggestion. And I think that that's everything that I wanted to share for this fascinating topic of resonance of shape. Do let me know if you have any questions regarding the principle itself, or if you have something in your bedroom that you're not quite sure and you are curious about my perspective at least, do let me know. And thank you for joining me here. I'll see you in the next episode.